my name is Trey, and I was the 8th grade house captain for the Great House. My reflection is on tonight's second reading, chapter 4 of St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians. What struck me about this reading is how St. Paul talks about unity and how important it is to be kind to others. The reason this resonated with me is this message is exactly what we live here at Chaminade. If you've ever attended a Chaminade assembly, it usually ends with the same message: just be kind to one another. St. Paul then goes on to talk about how when people are kind to one another, it forms a sense of unity. This is what happens at Chaminade. Whether it is my fellow students or teachers and staff, it feels like everyone at Chaminade cares about one another and has me and my classmates' best interests at heart. The reading goes on to talk about how when you have this unity, it builds everyone up and brings out the best within each and every person. I chose to reflect on this reading because the kindness and unity are my favorite things at Chaminade. Yes, education is a huge part of school, and I think Chaminade does a great job with education. But it is the brotherhood that you experience here at Chaminade that I believe sets it apart from other schools. Chaminade first built this unique brotherhood through the house system, beginning the moment a student steps foot on campus. The house system has played a huge part in the experience I've had here at Chaminade. One example of this is a story I like to tell about something that happened back at the Cardinals game in September. I was with my family when I ran into a couple of seniors from my mentor group and the Gray House. I talked to them for a couple of minutes, then went back to sit with my family. When I got back to my seat, my mom said how cool she thought it was that an 8th grader could just easily talk to a group of seniors that he had met just a couple months ago. This struck me because I had never thought of it this way. For me, this had always been the norm at Chaminade. But when I talk to friends outside Chaminade, they often do not know the kids in the grades above or below them, while at Chaminade, it is not unusual to have 6th graders who are friends with upperclassmen. This has been a great 8th grade year for me because I became much more involved in the house system and got to see how much work and effort goes into events such as the house show and house meetings, and how important these events are to the culture of Chaminade. Another way that Chaminade builds this brotherhood is through its many sports and clubs. I was involved with several sports and clubs during my time in middle school, but the one that sticks out to me as I look back was running cross country in my 8th grade year. Running was not something that I had began the year looking forward to. I had played soccer my whole life, but unfortunately I did not make the team this year. I had some friends who ran cross country, and I thought, well, my mile is kind of fast, I may be decent at this. So I joined the team. After the first practice, I found that cross country was not going to be nearly as easy as I thought it would be, but it was the team aspect that kept me running for the first couple weeks of practices. Soon, I began to become friends with the kids on the team, and those friendships made the long practices much more bearable. As many of you know, this year's middle school cross country team was very successful, winning many meets and even posting a perfect score. I think that a huge part of the team's success was how it did not feel like an individual sport. It truly was a team sport. Everybody was pushing each other to get better at practice, and at meets, everyone waited at the finish line cheering until the last person from Chaminade had finished. Another activity that promotes brotherhood among Chaminade students, and the club that I participated in the most with this year, was student broadcasting, better known as CSPN. I find this club cool because it requires everyone to be both mentor and mentee, as learning how to run all the equipment that you need for the broadcast to run smoothly is a skill that is passed down as people graduate and new people need to be taught, meaning that there is always something you can learn from everybody. This club also led to some very amazing experiences for me, including going to Jefferson City for a football game and getting to be present for Chaminade State running basketball. While our 8th grade year was cut short by a global pandemic, I am glad we are at least able to come together tonight to celebrate 3 great years of brotherhood. We have a great class, and I hope we continue to build on the unity we already have. I hope we can work together to become closer and even greater as a group, especially in these times of turmoil. And do, as St. Paul preaches, be kind and bring out the best in one another as we begin 4 more great years here at Chaminade. Thank you.